for LML draft, where we have 24 teams competing here to get into 3 separate groups. Here, there's going to be a little bit more of an explanation. It's going to be teams in order from last year's league are in 8 separate pots of 3. Those 3 teams will go down together into the funnel and duke it out for one of those 3 groups. Group A, Group B, or Group C. Now, let's take a look at our track here, where the coach of the Silver Speed Trains is on that little peg part in the loop-de-loop part. That's a beautiful draw course here, and we're going to get straight into the test run. It's at 2x speed here with the Bluetail Blushers, Device Distorters, and Wasteland Warriors here competing in our test run. Here, the Bluetail Blushers would get Group A, Device Distorters would get Group B, and the Wasteland Warriors would get Group C. Now on to Pot 1. It is the Teal Seals, Melonheads, and Feline Frenzy with Seal, Cantaloupe, and Tiger. All their captains here. All the teams have their captains. These were our 3 best teams that didn't get all qualified last year, and it looks like the Teal Seals will go begin to Group A. They look like they want it the most. No, Feline Frenzy were right there, but yes, they will get it in the end. The Teal Seals will be going in Group A. Feline Frenzy will be going into Group B, and the Melonheads will be going into Group C. Here, let's take a look at the replay here. The Teal Seals look like they were perfectly fine to going into Group A, and then Tiger came out of nowhere challenging for Group A because he really wanted it, but looks like he's going to have to settle for Group B. That was the move right there. Almost had it done, but Seal is going to get the job done and go into Group A. There you can see the groups, how they're going to be played out so far. Obviously, it's only 1 team in them so far. We still got 7 more pots to go through, so let's get straight into Pot 2. We have the Silver Bangles, Confettis, and Crustaceans, 7th through 9th from our main league last year with Bangle, Party, and Blue Crab. Let's see here. And great entry there from Party if he wants to go into Group A, and it looks like he really does. And they're going to be duking it out. And Blue Crab is also getting in the mix now, but Party will be going into Group A with the Confettis. And Blue Crab is actually going to go into Group B, and yeah, I guess he's stuck there at the entrance there. But Bangle will be going into Group C, which means we have the Confettis going into Group A, the Crustaceans going into Group B, and the Silver Bangles going into Group C. So far, just from 2 teams being in each group, I don't see any powerhouse groups forming just yet. But anything can happen with these next 2 groups because they have quite a bit of power in them. They just didn't do very good last season. And speaking of that pot, here we have this next pot with Pot 3 with the Selfish Sailors, Candy Rangers, and the Midnight Riders. The Candy Rangers, a very good LML team, but just had a very sluggish season last year. So they're going to be the team to watch out in this pot to see who will be making a power group here. And the Candy Rangers look like they want to go into Group A, and they will be going to Group A, which means keep an eye on Group A. There might be a little power group forming here. But the Selfish Sailors will be going into Group B, and the Midnight Riders will be settled to go into Group C. I'm not really feeling much here from these pots. They're both very even, so good job by the teams spreading them out. There's no real powerhouse group. But the Candy Rangers going into Group A will definitely tilt Group A just a little bit more than the rest. But Group C is also very dangerous, and Group B is also very dangerous. So we're going to have to see what the other teams. But those you can see the groups with 3 teams in them now. So we're getting a little more knowledge on how the remaining teams will be moving into these groups and how they want to position themselves. Now let's get into Pot 4, our final main league pot, with Team Starry, the Nefarious Nebulas, and the Magical Benders here. The bottom 3 teams from the main league last season, with the Nefarious Nebulas being miles better than all these teams. Probably both these teams combined, so they're going to be the one to watch here. They're looking like they're going into Group A. This might be dangerous because Group A is now going to be a little bit more powerful than all the other groups. And that is not looking good for our remaining teams. If you want to go into Group A, that's not the smart decision. With Team Star going to Group B and the Magical Benders going into Group C. So definitely say that Group B is starting to slip a little bit because Team Star is probably the worst team from this pot. But the Nefarious Nebula is pushing their way to Group A. They want to have that more power, and they want to create a sense of urgency towards Group A and to push better teams to Group B or Group C. So good strategy, maybe not, because you got 3 strong teams ahead of you. So we'll see how that works out for them. But Team Star also going to Group B. That's not great for them. And Group C has the Magical Benders here, our halfway point. We can see all our main league teams sorted into the pots, with obviously our host of Silver Speed Trains out, where the Midnight Riders replaced them into that pot. So it's interesting to see. But now let's get straight into our B League pots, with pot number 5 with the Green Turtles, Minty Chips, and Elmo Squad. The Green Turtles are on the high definitely after winning the B-League with Turtle here, their captain, into the draw. But let's see where they situate themselves with the groups and how they feel, because they're coming off a very good feeling of winning something. They don't do that often. And they're going to be going into Group A. Whoa, that's a crazy move. Probably the best team here, the only one with Main League experience from Season 1. And they're going to Group A. So Group A is definitely making themselves known. And it's definitely a little more spicy than the rest. Here, the Elmo Squad will be going into Group B, and the Minty Chips will be going into Group C. There, Elmo made a big nudge to Minty. I don't know if that's really legal. He really wanted to go into Group B. He saw that Team Star win there. He wanted to pounce on it for the Elmo Squad. And the Minty Chips, just going to have to settle for Group C here. It's a pretty decently leveled out group. Here with pot 6, we have the Peapods, the Misfits, and the Water Guns with Sugar Pea, Speedy, and Water. The Misfits definitely the best team here, so they're going to be the one to watch, see which group they go into. But the Water Guns are certainly positioning themselves to go into Group A. They want to go in there, and they're going to get there. I don't know if they were being nudged by the other two to go in there. If it was, then that was very funny, but the Misfits will be going to Group C, actually, so that's something to watch. Group B is definitely starting to position themselves to be the weaker group of the three. But the Water Guns going into Group A, the Peapods are going into Group B, and the Misfits going into Group C. So the middle pack really of the B-League last year. So they're going to be riding some mid-consistencies into this qualifiers. So let's see how they can carry it through. I think Group A and Group C definitely separating themselves into more powerhouse groups, and Group B a little on the lower side. So Feline Frenzy and Crustaceans might have a little bit of an easier time there. And into our second to last pot, pot 7, we have Frozen Weather, Colorblinders, the Savage Chocolates. They're all here. Frozen Weather are Season 1 runner-ups. They got put into the B-League in Season 3. Not what they want to be. They're going to be the one to watch from this pot. It looks like the Colorblinders, they're going to be going to Group A. They're fighting with Frozen Weather. And it's going to be the Colorblinders going into Group A with Frozen Weather going into Group B. And the Savage Chocolates going to Group C. The Savage Chocolates have not seen the Main League at all in these 3 seasons they've been in the LML, which is quite sad, but they have quite the consistency in the B-League, so maybe they can turn that around and put it into consistency in the Main League, maybe. But here, Red, the captain of the Colorblinders, pushing his way into Group A with Frozen Weather, with Hail going into Group B, and the Savage Chocolates going into Group C. Hale saw that opportunity, was like, yep, I'm going to take that, I'm going to go into Group B. He knows that experience after being one of the best marbles in Season 1. Here, in our final pot, pot 8, the Voids, Viper Snipers, and Continental Condiments with Void, Python, and Mayo. The Continental Condiments won the 4-team show-off, so they got that opportunity to go into the draw and into the qualifier. The other 3 teams went to the friendly round that was before this video here, but the Continental Condiments will be going to Group A, and the Viper Snipers look like they will be going to Group B, and the Voids will be going to Group C here. All the black-colored marbles are going to Group C. I don't know how I'm going to be able to tell them apart, oh god. But the Continental Condiments will be going to Group A, the more powerful group here. I don't know if that's good for a new team, but I guess we'll see how they do. With the Viper Snipers, who just barely eked out relegation from the B-League, will be going to Group B, fittingly, and the Voids will be going to Group C with the other 2 black-colored teams. So here you can see our 3 groups. They are all planned out. That's how the qualifiers will be going with these 3 groups here. The fans are as excited as I am for the qualifiers. They're the coach of the Silver Speed Trains, the host teams. There you have it. Those are the 3 groups with their 8 teams. This was a great draw to figure out the qualifiers. I'm Mash, and I'll see you later for qualifiers part 1 coming next week.